Minions of the Zoo is a lovable ragtag group of misfits that sprang up initially as a fan group to Ranting Monkey, Scribelite, Some Dumb American, and their joint Lords of the Night livestream show. Late night discussions in Discord quickly evolved into streams of their own, with each member bringing something new and different to the table for discussion. Led by the incomparable Reject PPC and the One-Ton Hammer, the group rotates hosts known as Zookeepers.
Hello everybody and welcome to Minions of the Zoo. I am your host for this evening, One-Ton Hammer.
I will be your zookeeper tonight, Reject.
Alright, and welcome to the zoo. I am the Lucky Pop-Tart Inquisitor.
Sanguine.
Skep, Tock.
I'm Prospero.
Cassie. And I'm Dylan Hayes.
Regular streamers, they're known as minions, and special guests are known as traveling exhibits. They're on a nightly basis, so that each show has something unique and fresh for our audience. Minions of the Zoo currently streams at 10:30 Central Standard, 11:30 Eastern Standard Time.
Happy Christmas! It's Christmas! Merry Crisis! Merry Chrysler!
Let's be xenophobic. It's really in this year. Let's find a nasty, slimy, ugly alien to fear. There's no more cutesy stories about E.T. phoning home. Let's learn to love our neighbors like the Christians learned in Rome. We know we ought to hate them. They're different, you see. We've seen their mean and ugly on movies and TV. The folks that ought to know have told us how it's got to be. The gospel truth is found in scenes from Alien and V. Let's wipe out any life form that seems to be a threat. We'll serve them up a genocide they never will forget. 'Cause if we miss a couple, they'll breed a couple more. And soon we'll all be hating twice as many as before. You see, aliens can never be as good as humankind. A more delightful race than us you'll never ever find. So step aside, you star slime, we're ready for your worst. We know you want to beat us, enslave us and defeat us, oppress us and browbeat us unless we get you first.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the zoo. I'm your zookeeper tonight, Inquisitor. Minion joining me so far is Megato.
Hey, everyone.
Hey, and Merry Christmas. Or Merry Crisis, Merry Chrysler. Like the intro video, yeah. How are you, my friend, and how was your Christmas?
I am doing well, and my Christmas was pretty good.
That's good, that's good. Get anything interesting, nice, or otherwise?
Well, it's a funny story, but my sister bought me a Canon Rebel T8i or whatever camera.
Oh, okay.
The trick is, it was hers just from high school.
No. Well, you know, if it works, then, you know, I don't think it's necessarily that bad. If it gets recycled, you know, it's still getting use out of it.
Yeah, she paid $800 straight from Best Buy.
Oof.
And she never used it.
Oh, never used it either. Oh God, that's painful. But at least it's gonna get some use now, right? You're gonna make sure.
Oh yeah, it's definitely gonna get use.
Okay, good.
I kind of run a small independent food page on Instagram.
Okay. Sees a lot of traffic and stuff, and helps.
It's all right.
Helps local businesses and stuff.
But speaking of that, I am technically no longer jobless.
Okay, cool. What's what kind of gig you got running?
I'm the social media manager for my father right now.
Okay.
He's running his own lawn care business, essentially.
Okay. Sure.
and I'm really helping him with his reach in this local area.
Okay, I'm gonna say it's a sort of thing. It's like, running like the Facebook page, Twitter page, whatever kind of thing, just to try and get word out to get more traffic to the business.
Yeah.
Sure. I'll say a lot of people probably underestimate that stuff, but a lot of people find, local businesses that they use and need on a regular basis online these days. So, if you've got, good reach when it comes to social media, that's a good way to open up avenues for your business. So it's a smart idea.
And he pays me pretty well, so hey.
Yeah, can't complain about that.
I'm still applying for like other stuff. It's just in the meantime I'm working for him.
Sure. Yeah. And it's something you can put on your resume too.
Exactly. So what'd you get, Quiz?
I got me a new airbrush, which is going to be super nice. Don't get me wrong, I like my old airbrushes, but they're going to be for like the precision work. This new airbrush is built for mass production, which is something that I'm definitely going to need to do here in the near future, especially with all of the models I need to paint for my roommate and then for Sanguine as well. And then I also got a Dremel tool, which is going to help me with my modeling work immensely. So mainly just tools I need for doing the things that I like to do, which is modeling. So.
All right. I didn't know you used a Dremel with these models.
Oh yeah. It's the best way to get down in for like if you want to magnetize something. That's the best way to do it is to use a Dremel tool.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, mostly for things like engraving. Also, is another really useful thing when it comes to modeling. So, yeah, all this stuff's going to be super useful. I'm going to get a lot of mileage out of it. I'll say I got one thing that I'm definitely going to need to use the Dremel tool for, like super soon, which is going to be for my roommate's Imperial Knights models, which are these massive bipedal robot sort of things. And I'm going to be magnetizing the torso bit onto the pelvis, and I'm going to need to engrave out in the torso to put the magnet down into it. So, yeah, it's going to be a lot of work, but in my opinion, going to be rewarding. Then we're going to see about getting people together to play some games on New Year's. It's going to be fun.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
I've been seeing a lot of Dark Tide recently.
Oh, yeah. And I'll say Dark Tide, I'm not going to hate on Dark Tide at all. Number one, I really want to play it. My computer's not good enough. But number two, it's introducing a lot of people to 40K. So, in my opinion, the more the merrier, man.
Yeah, one of my streamers I've watched pretty regularly just picked it up one day because he got I think a free stream key for it.
Mm-hmm.
And he really liked it. He knows almost nothing about 40K at all.
Yeah, you don't need to. It's just a really fun game. And what's even better is that if you end up really liking the game and really liking the universe and stuff like that, you can then delve into it. Learn everything about 40K. I envy those people. Me being so old hat at it.
I wish I could get into a hobby like that. It's just way too much time on a very specific thing.
Mm.
Like, if you have to paint your own models and then run these huge games, that's not really for me.
Well, to be fair, for the games and stuff like that, if you have constraints on time, you can play smaller games. Just having all the models means that you've got choices. You can swap between all kinds of different things for any game that you want to play. You can be like, well, I haven't really tried out this unit. I'm going to try this unit. So. I sound like a shill for Games Workshop, but it's just because I love the hobby, man. And I like to see other people love the hobby too, you know? I had to crack open a new Loren forest here because my old one dried out. Because I was a dummy and left it open. You know, it's interesting you say that too about not wanting to necessarily invest all the time and everything for the game. There's plenty of people I know that really love Warhammer but don't play the game like at all. They just read the books and stuff like that. I do think that Warhammer is most interesting because it is just more than just a game, you know. It's a whole universe. It's a whole setting. It's a whole, you know. There's tons of fiction about it. There's tons of, you know, movies, games, all sorts of shit. You can enjoy Warhammer in a myriad, tons of different ways.
What really draws me into a particular media series is probably art.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I agree.
No offense to Warhammer's art, it's just I'm not really into that style.
Sure, yeah. I'll say I get it. It's very Western medieval sort of influenced sort of art, you know, sort of thing. Very Renaissance painting, which isn't for everyone, but you know, I personally think it's pretty awesome, and that's definitely what got me started. You know, John Blanche's art on the 3rd edition Warhammer 40k rulebook is just absolutely beautiful.
Well, I'm seeing it now. I guess my taste is just kind of corrupt because I grew up on anime.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. Let's say if you want an anime suggestion for Warhammer, you want to check out the Tau Empire. They're very heavily anime influenced, especially with their battle suits. Very mecha, put it that way. Reminds me a lot of. Have you ever watched the anime Pat Labor?
What year did that come out?
Oh, that's got to be 80s.
Then no.
Okay. It's a really interesting show. It's essentially the premise is that like criminals in the near future have advanced so far with technology that they're, you know, far surpassing police's ability to rein them in. So the police have started to employ battle mechs.
So like RoboCop?
No, think like Gundams, but cops.
Okay, because I only made like halfway through the first Gundam series.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Gundam's great though.
Yeah, I might have to get back into it. One of the later series. Is this the old one? It's just, yeah.
Well, you want my recommendation for Gundam series? Hands down, my favorite is 08 The Mess Team. That show is incredible.
Okay, it's 08 the MS team.
Yeah, it stands for Mobile Suit. Yeah, 08 MST.
Oh, it's an OVA.
I think it's 14 episodes. I think it's like a half season anime.
Okay.
But it's really good. I'd say the one thing that I really like about 08 MS Team, like over some of the other like mech anime, is that they treat them like what they really are, war machines. They are a tool of war. And so the drama of the series really comes down to character development. And the characters are really cool and interesting. So that's why I like that. Because I'll be honest, fucking Gundam Wing, a lot of people love Gundam Wing, man. I don't see it. Call that my hot take for the day or whatever, but I think Gundam Wing is actually kind of shit.
I wouldn't know. What I grew up on was Yu-Gi-Oh, like Yu-Gi-Oh GX, Beyblade, Pokemon. Yeah, I'm the last person to ask when it comes to Gundam.
Sure. It's so funny because like I've got a couple of buddies in another Discord server. They're playing, you know, the new Pokemon and everything, and they're talking about the new Pokemon, and I'm just like, you know, I don't know anything about this, guys. Like, the most I know is like maybe a few of the Pokemon's names, and mostly from like, you know, the first generation, because that's the anime that I saw every now and then. So like I picked it up through pop culture osmosis, not because I was a, you know, particular fan of the series.
And it was a really quick adoption rate, then the quick trash rate. The early Pokemon. Not a lot of people from the original red, blue, and yellow days kind of carried over.
It's really weird. Because, I mean, I figured that most of the people that like got into Pokemon got into it because they remember doing it, you know, as a kid. Because let's be honest, Pokemon is, you know, the target demographic is around like 8 to 10 year olds, right? So
yeah.
Like my major problem, the reason why I never really got into it, as I was 13 when that game was released.
Oh.
So I was way too old. I, you know, way outside of the target demographic. And so
wait, stop. You were 13 in 98?
98. No, wait, hold on. No, I'm older than 13 and 98. Holy shit. Hold on. I was 15. I was 15 when Pokemon came out.
Dude, you're old enough to be my dad.
Yeah, probably. I'm 38, dude.
Ugh.
But yeah, the like I always figured that people stuck around Pokemon because they remember playing it when they were a kid. So it's odd to me to hear that, you know, a lot of people kind of like fell off after the first one, because they went from
after
Game Boy to Game Boy Color to Game Boy Advance.
Yeah. After more experience with the RPG genre, it really is just a toned down RPG.
Pretty much, yeah.
And I guess that's a big appeal to a lot of different people. It's accessible.
Okay, yeah. Something like quick and easy that you can just kind of like pop in, play for an hour, and then put it away.
Yeah, it's not like a Final Fantasy where you have to dig in and invest in the story so heavily.
Sure.
Oh yeah, have you heard about that Ash leaving the anime?
I did, yeah, I heard about that. I mean, is that really a big deal? I mean, I figured a lot of people aren't even really watching the anime anymore.
You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised how many people are watching the anime. It's why they still make the anime.
Sure.
But yeah, not as much. Not as much as before. But yeah, it's a decent big deal. It's been like what, 20, 25 years?
Something like that, yeah. I remember seeing Pokemon on TV on a KB toy store back when I went back to Ohio for like Christmas or something like that. I went to a KB toy store and I saw a fucking Pokemon on like a CRT TV on like fucking VHS or something. It was crazy. I remember the episode too. It was the one where Ash explains never evolving his Pikachu into a Raichu because like the opponent that he had to fight had a Raichu.
Yeah, it's just been quite a long time since then.
Yep.
I mean, it's probably a good change in the long run.
I mean, it gives you more options to expand. The character of Ash Ketchum hasn't really ever been a thing in the games like it all, has he? Like, even in the first one, you were supposed to identify with a character that you made. Yeah, you didn't get to customize it at all, but you changed the name.
See, that's the funny thing. Ash really is not supposed to have any reference in the games at all. But in Gen, I think it was either 6 or 7, they released a Pokemon called Ash Greninja in the anime. And then they did a tie-over event for the game where you could get an Ash Greninja in-game. So it kind of screws everything up.
Okay. Well, I figure that the Pokemon canon, so to speak, is really not all that important.
I guess I'm a super fan or something. I don't know.
I mean, does
It's a
really
little
matter?
important. There's like 3 different timelines.
Does it really matter when stuff like that happens, though? I mean, does it really affect much of anything?
I mean, not really. It's just that when you have Ash Greninja in a Pokemon game, you could have Ash in a game.
Yeah, sure. Like, I could see them doing something, because, like, you know, Brock and Misty were characters in the first gen game, right? So, I could see them doing, like, you know, maybe the final gym leader of, like, the whatever game that they're coming out with, it's going to be, like, you know, Ash's big hurrah when it comes to the anime. They could put him as in, like, the final gym leader that you have to fight. Like, that's his retirement.
To be honest, I'm not thinking they're ever going to stop.
Yeah, probably not.
It's too much money for Nintendo and Game Freak. They can't stop.
Well, they, you know, regardless of how the quality of the game, they make hand over fist. I mean, this newest release, I've seen all the hilarious memes and bugs about the game. Again, like, I've never been a big Pokemon guy, but I see it because of pop culture osmosis. You know, other people talk about it, and I see them talking about it, even though I don't really know much about it, so I absorb it. But I've would be remiss to say that I haven't seen the dong. What is it? It's not a. It looks like a Diglett, but it's not. It's like a white Diglett that like pops out and like slaps.
Wiglet.
Yeah, Wiglet. That's it. The positioning of it got messed up, and it looks like it's popping out of a dude's crotch. So it looks like he's got a massive dick just slopping against the opponent. And then I've seen the other one with the bug eyes on the characters. Their eyes bugging out of their head.
Yeah.
So, like, you know, I've seen all the memes about all the bugs and stuff like that. But, you know, if you can release a game in that sort of state and not kill all of your goodwill, like Bethesda seems to every single time, then I think that you've got just, like, something that has a license to print money at this point.
Yeah, I think they solidified that a long time ago with Pokemon.
Sure.
every time they release a new plush line, they sell out immediately and you can't get it.
Yeah, true. I remember people were going apeshit over Rowlet.
And that's their main money maker. Not even the games. It's the plush market.
Plushes and toys and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, all the other aftermarket, not the games. Yeah. The games, I think, may even cost them money to make. The big thing that I gotta wonder though is like, when is Pokemon gonna have a big MMORPG made for it?
Why does every single non-Pokemon fan say that?
I'm just saying, man. Like that's.
I've been hearing that for a decade, man.
That's the next logical.
When's the Pokemon MMO?
That's the next logical progression, man.
I mean, technically, Sword and Shield is the first MMO. I mean, not. Okay, Scarlet and Violet. I mean, because there's like a 4-player adventure thing, technically.
Okay, cool. That's cool. I'll say the most I knew about like any sort of multiplayer Pokemon was just like versus.
What do you mean versus?
Like ever since, oh god, I think it was the Game Boy version that you could link up and fight against your friend's Pokemon.
Oh, okay. I thought you were referring to something else. Man. Yeah, I sometimes get into multiplayer. It's just I suck when it comes to EV training and stuff.
Well, it's weird. Like you gotta, because I like the game that I can say that I probably played that's similar in sort of tone to the Pokemon multiplayer versus would be Golden Sun. And even then, Golden Sun had all the intricacies of the different buffs that you could have to your characters, their equipment, and then you had the Djinn, and if you like had them equipped to the character or left in reserve so that you could use them as summons. So you had like all of these sorts of things that you could throw curveballs at your friend. Like I remember one of the times I was playing with him, playing with a friend of mine, and I did a versus with him, and normally I would beat him to the initiative because I had better gear than he did that added to quickness and stuff like that, so I went first. But and like there was one time where I was playing against him and he went first for all 4 of his characters. So like, what the hell is going on here? And then I did 4 mass summons on him because I had de-equipped all of my Djinn and just immediately terminated him.
Yeah, I've heard a lot about Golden Sun.
It's a great game.
Would you recommend it?
Oh, I love it. I have all 3 of them. A lot of people hate on the DS one, but I didn't think the DS one was bad.
Yeah, that weird camera angle in the battles they got is kind of interesting.
Yeah, like the like 2.5D sort of things, like they're 2D sprites, but like on a parallax 3D background and all sorts of stuff like that. It's a really interesting concept for the art design, and I thought they pulled it off really well. And it's a very interesting story. So, overall, yeah, I would recommend Golden Sun quite a bit. It deserves all the praise that it rightfully gets.
Yeah, too bad about Advance War.
Yeah.
I was kind of expecting that to come out this year.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it probably got pushed back, and you see all these stories about games going into development hell and shit like that. I mean, look at Dead Island 2 is finally coming out this next year.
Ooh.
And that trailer came out in what, 2014? The original Dead Island 2?
Yeah, but Advance Wars, it was the Ukraine war that they didn't release it. They thought it was insensitive at the time. But the thing is, it's just been sitting there complete. Like, people people were streaming the game because they accidentally released it one day ahead of time.
Mm-hmm.
And then they just shut down all the streams, put out the announcement, the Ukraine war's going on, we're not releasing the game. And that's how it's been ever since. A complete game just locked.
Yeah. It's weird that shit like that can happen. What's even worse is that it's a Nintendo too. Nintendo, like, they're like Mr. Krabs level of greedy.
Apparently there's well, of course there's a Russian type enemy in Advance Wars.
Yeah.
So
I would figure that they'd want to release it even more then. Everyone hates Russia because of the Ukraine war. I feel really bad for the Warhammer enthusiasts in Russia. I mean, they didn't, vote for this war. They didn't want it to happen. But yet, they're locked out of participating with any Warhammer shit simply because Putin is a dickhead.
So is Games Workshop not in Russia anymore?
They pulled out of Russia when everything kicked off. It was, they put out a big virtue signal post like every company did, but it was mainly also the fact that there's this massive trade embargo with Russia because of Britain. Britain pretty much said, no, we're not dealing with Russia. So even if Games Workshop wanted to put out something for a Russian audience, they can't.
Yeah, I've been seeing videos of their supermarkets there, and they have all these knockoff products now.
Oh yeah, yeah. Russia have absolutely no qualms about 3D printing or recasting GW models. In fact, actually, if you wanted to buy a recast, it was 50-50 toss-up if you were getting it from a Cheeky Breeky or a Ching Chong.
Oof.
I mean, I say that and that sounds racist, but these people are pirating off of Games Workshop's IP. So I don't give a fuck. And of course, it's Russia and China that are going to be doing all the recasting and illegal shit.
Yeah. So what food you guys got today?
Oh, we had ham. Now, normally I don't really like ham all that much, and I still don't. Ham is not my go-to, meat of choice. But it was pretty good today. My stepdad did a fairly good job. My mom is pretty much sort of, I guess, precluded from being able to cook. She recently had to go through and was in the hospital for low blood oxygen levels, and so she's on an oxygen compressor. So she wasn't up and doing the actual cooking. It was my stepdad, but yeah, everything came out pretty good though. How about you?
Yeah, we just had a breakfast casserole like normal.
Oh hell yeah!
And then for dinner, it was a bit of a catastrophe.
No.
We tried to make a standing rib roast.
Okay. Well, I saw the
Because they were
pictures of your rib roast. That looked pretty good. Did it not come out good?
It looked pretty good, but my mom, she undercooked it.
Okay. Well, it's not necessarily the doom and gloom with a rib roast. You could just put it back in for another 20 minutes.
Yeah, she just heated it up in the microwave. She just sliced some pieces off and heat them up in the microwave.
Okay. Well, I mean that works too.
It worked. It was just, it's not the same.
No, it's not. I 100% agree with that. But I mean, yeah. I mean, I get where she's coming from, though. I mean, if you go through and you do all the prep work, you do all the cooking, and then it just comes out, a little too raw. You're not gonna spend the extra time putting it back in again, having it cook a little bit longer, and yeah, and while everyone's getting hungry. I get it. I get it.
Which makes this good broccoli rice casserole. It's really good.
You know, I've never. Okay. You know, like typical kids, I've never really been into broccoli, but you know, growing into an adult, I've had dishes with broccoli in it that I've really liked. My problem is I haven't really been exposed to a whole lot of different things. But a broccoli rice casserole actually sounds pretty good. Would you mind giving me like a recipe for something like that? Because I'd like to try that.
I cannot give you my mom's.
Okay.
I can give you one I find online.
Okay, well that's fine. You know, just give me some sort of recommendation. Because like I'd like to cook more with broccoli and make it taste good. Because let's be honest, regular broccoli by itself is pretty fucking gross. But like, you know, I've had a broccoli cheddar soup that was absolutely delicious.
Yeah, I'm trying to search for it. It might take a little while.
That's okay.
Because her version is a bit more cheesy.
Cheesy, like, you know, with a lot more cheddar or something like that?
Oh yeah, it's like all cheddar.
Oh, that's... I mean, like I said, that's not a bad idea. I had a broccoli cheddar soup that was delicious, so...
Okay, I think I found one. I might just DM you.
Okay, sounds good. Sounds good.
But yeah, it came out all right in the end.
Okay. I mean, it didn't ruin the evening or anything, if by the sounds of it.
No.
So.
Did you guys freeze over in Chicago?
Oh, dude. This last week, we have been in the negatives every single fucking day. All during the day, and it gets even colder at night.
Ugh. I thought we had it bad down here, just being in the teens, in the 20s.
Yeah, we're in the negatives. The only places that got it worse than us was Wisconsin and Canada.
Yeah, as soon as the weather went down here, I just immediately got sick.
Yeah, well, oh, dude, that's been going around. I remember I had Adam a couple of weeks ago have to cover for me on a Sunday. I actually took 3 days off of work after that Sunday, simply because I got like fucking flu or something, man. It was bad. It was really bad. So yeah, it's been going around. Don't feel bad about that.
Yeah, I've been coughing stuff up the past week.
Yep.
That's why my voice sounds kind of weird today.
Sounds about right. I say the VTuber Takanashi Kiara, she put out a post where she was talking about how she had laryngitis, bronchitis, and a sinus infection. So yeah, it's been going around. It's been going around.
At that point, you just shoot me.
Yeah, right. It's like just put me out of my misery. The hell, Shady got bronchitis, so. Yeah, it's been going around, man. It's bad, but hopefully the worst of it is over. I've heard that it's supposed to get up into the 50s here in Chicago this next week, so yeah. Everyone, still stay safe and stay warm, but hopefully the worst of it is past.
Okay, this Richard in chat says, "Have you had broccoli rabe?" No, I have not had broccoli rabe.
Broccoli rabe. No. Let me check chat. wrong thing. There we go. Right thing. A Malevolent Writer says they're gonna watch Yu-Gi-Oh gameplay. I don't know. Yu-Gi-Oh was another thing. Like, I had friends that were Magic players that got into Yu-Gi-Oh, but I've never really been a card flopper, so it's never been a thing for me.
The anime is just so much more interesting than the real life game. I can't do it.
Sure. Makes sense. There's a really good Rice Pirate parody of it.
I think I might have seen that one.
That's pretty good. What a weird game. A fucking Stamper doing Joey. People do what they do. Small beef roast, mashed potatoes, and fresh green beans. You know, Talik, that is like my go-to, man. I'm very much a meat and potatoes kind of guy, and like a beef roast, mashed potatoes, and green beans, that's just like perfect. And what's even better is that that's like a good springboard. You can like paint on it like a goddamn canvas, putting in all kinds of spices or you know, going with different sorts of rubs. You could dry brine the beef roast. You can garlic the mashed potatoes. Go with even, you know, sea salt and cracked black pepper into the mashed potatoes. Green beans, you can cook them in. I love to cook green beans in bacon grease. That's like, in my opinion, some of the best tasting green beans that you can make. And then do things like, you know, sprinkle in some of the French's French fried onion straws into the green beans. So good. Like I said, it's just like a blank canvas. You can just create any sort of thing that you want out of just that sort of, you know, template, and it's great.
I'm not a huge fan of just beef roast. Whenever I get just a chuck, it always tastes like the same every time.
Sure. The major thing is number one, how you cook it, and number two, a really good way to you know, work a roast is to dry brine it before. You'll need to do, you know, like a day's worth of prep work for it too. You cover the thing and really work into the meat a salt of some kind. Usually like a sea salt or even like a smoked sea salt works the best. Excuse me. And then you like let it sit for a day. The salt will lock like all the moisture from the roast inside of it. So while it cooks, you're not running off all of the moisture into, you know, whatever pan that you've got that you're, you know, cooking it in the oven with. And all of that will just stay within the meat. So when you cut into it, like if you like it more done or less done, it'll still retain all of the like juice within the meat. And then you can like season the outside of it, and then, you know, even better yet, like build a gravy. You can do it from a roux or even cornstarch. I did cornstarch on the follow-up to Thanksgiving. I made a rib roast for my friends as a follow-up to Thanksgiving. This last Thanksgiving, we did it like on Black Friday, and it turned out pretty good. I really liked it. It probably turned out a little too rare for everyone, but I really like my meat rare, so it didn't bother me at all. But you know.
All right, I guess I'll have to try that again.
It really does come down to like techniques and stuff like that. And again, like I said, it's like a blank canvas. If you like your meat a little bit more spicy, you can like do a marinade in like you know, hot sauces and things like that before putting it in. But, you know, again, you dry brine it for you dry brine it for like a day before you actually cook, and it's great. It's great. for that matter too, like another blank canvas sort of meat and combination sort of thing is pork chops. Pork chops have like a really neutral taste already, so it really does come down to things like spices, marinades, and stuff like that. You can do pretty much anything with pork chops. You can do barbecue. You can do Caribbean.
I've just started to love pork chops recently. My mother always made them way too inedible, texture-wise.
Overcooked and everything.
Oh yeah, every
my,
time.
My mom too.
We're just figuring out how to make them tender, so I'm getting into that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And say I'm kind of lucky with that kind of thing. A buddy of mine, his mom lives in Iowa, and she occasionally goes to a farmer's market out there. Now, Iowa's pretty much known for being like the state for pig farming, and they get pork out there for ridiculously cheap. And every now and then she'll come back into town and she'll bring me like 15, 16 something pork chops, and I'm in fucking hog heaven after that, man. I'm like making pork chops every day, but I'm like doing something completely different for the dish every time.
Okay, question.
Sure.
Have you had these Omaha meats before?
Oh, you mean like the Omaha steaks and stuff like that? The ones that get delivered to your house? Yes. My mom for a while mail ordered the thing. She was part of the subscription service. And so one of the things that she would get filet mignons from the Omaha steak company. They'd mail order it. Okay. For shipped packaged meat, they are tops. They are A+. Will they compare to a local butcher shop? No.
Damn it. My sister and my brother-in-law just sent us a whole pack of that stuff.
Well, I mean, like, if you've got filet mignons, go fucking wild, man. They are amazing. They're really good. They're really, really good. I mean, like I said...
Anything not so good?
Maybe the ribeyes. The ribeyes probably tended to be a little bit too coarse. You'd have to really tenderize them quite well. You'd have to thaw them out, tenderize them, and then really, cook them. But for the most part, they're really known for their filet mignons. So any of those are going to be they'll be just fine.
Okay. My dad makes a really good filet mignon, so that should be good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my only problem with filet mignon is that it's fucking expensive. Moving out and living on your own and stuff like that, you and especially loving steak, you kind of learn to budget around your love of certain particular cuts of meat.
Yeah, I remember when I was in college, I didn't eat any steak.
Yeah. I'll say, I'm assuming, when you went to college, you probably learned the most important lesson like I did. Never turn down a free meal.
Amen.
Yeah. I keep on saying, what was the most valuable thing you learned? Motion tweening? No. Onion skinning? No. 3ds Max and, rigging and model work? No. Never turn down a free meal. That is the most valuable thing I learned in college.
Yeah, if it wasn't for college, I wouldn't love Indian food as much as I do now.
I've never tried Indian food. I know it's sounds like a travesty to some people, but it's just not all that common around here. Now we've got things like Thai food around here, but we don't have Indian. You have to go out of your way to find an Indian restaurant around here. But I've heard it's really good, and I want to give it a try.
Oh, it is. It is really good. It's what it is, it's a whole bunch of flavors just smacking you in the face.
Yeah. It's like the one thing that I'll say about Indian food, and I made the comment to a buddy of mine. Okay, so where I used to work at General Mills, they had, this is long before the whole rampant social justice problem, but they had a diversity and inclusion sort of thing program going on there. And what they did is they had different sort of heritage programs based around race in particular, but one of the ones they had was for Asian, but it was like non-specific Asian. So a coworker of mine was Laotian, all right, and the head of the Asian communication network or whatever it was Indian. So whenever they would have meetings, they would go to an Indian restaurant. And I would always remark to my buddy whenever he'd come back to work after going out to the Indian restaurant, I'm like, it smells good, but holy shit, dude, do you reek like Indian food.
Oh, yeah. You will smell after going to those restaurants.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but we had a weird, large amount of Indian people at our college, and a lot of them worked in the cafeteria.
Okay.
So they actually made really authentic Indian food for the cafeteria.
Oh, like in the cafeteria? Oh,
yeah.
Nice.
It was great.
I'll say I went to art school, so we didn't have a cafeteria. It's like if you wanted to have lunch in the middle of class, go to fucking Panera.
Oof.
Yeah. Like, we were lucky to have a student union. It was like, our campus was in a fucking office building. Like, we're talking like floors 1 through 5 was the campus. Floors 6 through 10 were like law firms.
Yeah, I can imagine that.
It was weird. It was definitely weird. Especially considering 5th floor, we had our life and figure drawing class. I mean, it was better than maybe being on the 1st floor with the windows and stuff like that, but it's just weird that, you had all of these giant exposed windows and you had people getting naked, for life and figure drawing. It's strange, but, it is what it is.
Did you ever get used to that?
Oh, absolutely. I didn't see, like, the naked form as anything erotic, like, even the first time I did it, which was in high school.
I mean, I imagine after seeing so many dicks, you get tired of it.
To believe it or not, most of our models were always women.
Lucky you.
Well, not all of them were lookers. I'll just say that, but that's neither here nor there. It never even occurred to me to look at them as erotic in any sort of way. Not really. I mean,
I'd imagine that'd be kind of a bad thing to have if you're taking an art class. You're constantly getting a boner.
A boner, yeah. I mean, we had some good looking models. I'm not gonna lie. There were some that I feel good for paying for this class, and other ones where it was all like, ugh. But at some point, like, the switch just gets turned off and you're just looking at poses rather than bodies.
Yeah, I try to do figure drawing online sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just not disciplined enough to do it.
I mean,
I think that's like the number one thing holding me back in my art is I can't sit myself down and learn.
Yeah. The major thing about art and any of that sort of like creative aspect is really just sitting down and doing it. It's like, fuck everything else, get it all out of your brain, fuck it, sit down and do it. I mean, that's the kind of shit that I had to go through, because like I'd be sitting there going like, you know, oh, I need to put on music, or I need to, you know, put on some sort of background noise. No, fuck you, sit down and do it. That's what I would keep on telling myself.
Yeah, music just comes so easily to me that learning doesn't really bother me.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like the top euphonium in my high school.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe even maybe even the area.
Sure.
Don't want to dox myself completely.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just didn't try, so I didn't really get too far.
I mean, it does require the passion. You know, you have to really want to do it. And I think after you do get that iron grip discipline and say, you know, fuck you, brain, sit down and do it. At some point, you know, while doing it, you'll lose complete track of time. You'll just be enjoying doing what you're doing. I mean, that's how it works for me. Like, if I'm sitting down, you know, drawing and, like, you know, making something for a cartoon, I will sit there and just draw. And, you know, I'll zoom in, like, 1,000,000% to try and get, like, the vector line just right. And, like, it's like, you know, is anyone, like, you know, who's going to be seeing this cartoon ever going to see that? No. But I'll know it's there. And that's the sort of mentality I get into it when I'm doing it. And then all of a sudden I've spent, like, 5 hours drawing.
So were you educated in like Flash?
I preferred 2D. That's not to say that I didn't get taught 3D. I did my courses on 3ds Max and so on and so forth. I did Flash for a long time. I also know how to make a cartoon out of essentially progressive still images that you like onion skin in Photoshop. But you save all of the images and then import them into After Effects as a still image timeline and can make a frame-by-frame cartoon out of it. So it's essentially...
Yeah, isn't that compositing?
Oh yeah, it's like doing a digital version of old school frame-by-frame animation.
All right, I just didn't know because a lot of 2D animation is on the outs as of recently.
It is, and it's unfortunate. But there are programs that still allow you to do it. Toon Boom is one that I see a lot of people using.
Yeah. A lot of good 2D I see is just from YouTube.
Of course. Yeah. That's like the medium to put it out on. Because commercially, no one wants to invest in 2D animation anymore. Which is
except
a shame.
Japan.
Well, yeah, except for Japan. And even then, 2D animation for Japan, it's kind of a toss-up. I mean, the new Berserk series wasn't 2D. All of the sprites and everything, all of the models and everything were 3D.
I feel like that's such a bad example of CGI use in anime.
Well...
because you see things like that, and then you look at a show like Demon Slayer, where they do similar things in terms of CGI, but they do it so much better and so much more fluid.
I mean, I've never really sat down and watched any of Demon Slayer. I've seen some of the fight sequences, which are kind of cool. Like the was it like the water sword technique that the main character uses? That's a really fucking cool effect. But I think Demon Slayer also is a combination of both 2D and 3D, isn't it?
It is.
Okay. Yeah. Like,
we have a lot of 3D effects as well.
Yeah, like and like every now and then a model will be 3D, but it will be for like a really fast motion scene. Like I know the little girl with like the scroll in her mouth. I know like for some of like the running sequences for her, all of that is purely in 3D. And sometimes, especially if you know what you're looking for, it's a little jarring. But I don't know. Like I said, I'm not a real big fan of it. I've never really sat down and watched any of it. I've just seen like clips here and there of like the fight sequences and stuff. And I think that personally, like a lot of that kind of stuff can be done really well. And even like the actual character models being in 3D can be done really well. Guilty Gear is a good example of 3D done incredibly well. The new Guilty Gear games are just so on point for their character modeling, for their for their blocking, for their animation. Everything for it is just spectacular. And all of their models are 3D. None of it is 2D.
Yeah, Arc System Works just hits it out of the park every time when they do something like that.
Absolutely. So
like GBZ, Kakarot.
So I don't think that necessarily 3D. My opinion has definitely swayed a lot since 3D has been used to better artistic effect, and I think that my transition really was Street Fighter 4. When all of like the intro movies for Street Fighter 4 came out, like when they were doing like the kicks and they would do like the ink blot paintings and stuff like that with the motion of the kick. I just looked at that and I was dumbstruck. I was all like, that is what 3D should be. So like seeing that kind of stuff, it really changed my opinion a lot about 3D animation. But I still do like prefer if something is 2D. And I'm not, you know, again, I'm not, you know, naysaying or downplaying 3D at all. I do think that 2D, 3D hybrids are really fucking cool, though. And it leaves you a lot of creative room to make some amazing things. And I know it's a little primitive at this point, but the Osamu Tezuka's Metropolis is hands down one of my favorite 2D, 3D hybrids.
Okay, that was a really hipster thing to say.
It was, yes, but that, you know, that's my era of animation. I really liked 80s, 90s, and early 2000s.
Yeah. If any of you guys haven't checked it out, check out Wordy Kids on YouTube.
Wordy Kids.
It's WORTHIKIDS.
Okay. Yeah, they do like anime reviews or something?
All of his stuff essentially is done in Blender, but he animates over it. It's some of the best animation I've seen in recent years from a YouTube.
It's like rotoscoping at that point?
Oh yeah.
Okay. I mean, I'm a sucker for good rotoscoping. I think A Scanner Darkly is fucking awesome.
Like dude has the training in basically 2D animation, and he just combines out the good 3D models. It's almost uncanny.
Okay.
Like he does a lot of 2D stuff, and he does like, I guess he has a certain Blender preset and a whole bunch of lighting and stuff that he does like claymation type stuff.
Sure.
It's like, but it looks actually real. It's pretty insane.
Okay. Well, like I said, I'm a sucker for a good rotoscoping. So you know, if it looks really good, then hell yeah, I'll check them out.
Yeah, I think you'd really love his comedy stylings.
Okay, I'll say, is it similar to oh god, what's his name? James something. He's Australian. Oh, God. Let me look it up. Shit, it's gonna bother me now. He did the music video for Moist Critical. Charlie. James Lee! Have you seen his stuff?
I'm looking it up now. Oh, this dude.
I love James Lee. He's so good.
Similar, but maybe on a smaller scale and less dramatic lighting.
Okay. I'll say that, and you know me, I absolutely adore the extreme contrast, so James Lee's stuff is like right up my alley. It looks like straight out of EC Comics or some shit. It's great. I fucking love him.
Dude's videos are just straight up creepy.
They are! I love them! I really liked his court of public opinion on Keanu Reeves. You are not breathtaking. Nobody is breathtaking. Yeah, but like I said, you know, you're not wrong when it's when you were saying that 2D animation like lives on YouTube, lives and dies on YouTube. That's like the
And Netflix to an extent.
Yeah, I would say Netflix is a good vehicle for that kind of stuff too. I absolutely adored the Castlevania series on Netflix. I've not watched all of Cyberpunk 2077 yet, but was it Edge Runners? Is the name of it?
Yeah.
But that is so awesome when it comes to its cartoon, like its animation and everything. It just looks so awesome. So I'm all for it. And I'm, you know, Netflix gets a lot of shit, and deservedly so, for things like Cuties. But for every Cuties, we get fucking Castlevania. So it's all like, is Netflix this den of horribleness that everyone should boycott? No, it's not. Sorry to say, but it's not.
Now their prices are something else.
Oh yeah, fuck. Okay, I can say this as a former employee of Netflix. If you can get a Netflix subscription from someone else, like if they're paying for it and they give you access to their Netflix account, fucking do it. Don't give them any extra money. They fired me because they made the horrible decision to piss off all of their customers by separating the manual CD from the streaming service. They can go fuck themselves. They have a terminal case of upper management, and their CEOs do not deserve any money for being such, like, horrible market jackasses.
Yeah, we currently pay like $16 a month, and that's just for 1080p.
Mm-hmm.
No DVDs are up at all or anything.
Yeah, no, it's
But
just the streaming
starting
service.
next year, they're going to be upping the price based on household.
Yup. I say it's so weird too, because like back when I worked for the company, they had this whole like corporate structure sort of thing where they were saying like, no matter what the market does, we will always be $8 a month for 2-disc rental and unlimited streaming service. Well, where the fuck did that go, Netflix? You compromised your principles back when I was working there.
They must be making so much money, but I know they're not, because they keep losing so many subscribers every year.
What it is that they do lose subscribers every year, and their population goes down. But they do things like they're diversifying their portfolio. They produce the films as well as offer a streaming service. So even though they're doing that, they're getting investors coming in to put in money. And whether or not that film does well on Netflix doesn't matter. They own the platform. They got the money to produce it. And do you think that they're going to be producing it at not a profit? Oh no, they're producing it at a profit.
Yeah.
I mean, when you really get into the minutia of their business, they're scummy as fuck. You didn't want people being honest like this, Netflix. You shouldn't have fucking fired me when you did your whole Flickster bullshit. Fuck you, Netflix. And fuck you, Susan. Obligatory.
Yeah, the only reason we still have Netflix right now is I watch like a few animes on there.
Sure. I'm not gonna say.
And my sister is
service,
just.
Man. They do put out a good service, but
yeah,
is it worth the money, and is it worth compromising some principles? I don't know. I don't know, man.
I'd say it's worth about half of what we currently pay.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's worth $8 an hour or $8 a month.
An hour.
Yeah, it was, yeah. Well, that's what I've got paid, so.
Wait, when was this?
Back in 2008.
I was paid $9 an hour for my last job last year.
That's holy shit.
Holy shit, I was robbed.
Yeah, you were.
I had no idea.
I mean, I got paid actually more than $8 an hour because it was a third shift job, so I got paid a third shift premium, so it was more like around $13 an hour, but still, it's, yeah. The on-paper wage was $8 an hour. You know, I'm not gonna sit here and knock everything too. I will come right out and say, you want a good life lesson. Life lessons from Quiz. A good life lesson, man. Negotiate your pay before you get a job. I did that this last time around with the job that I currently have, and I told them flat out when I walked in. I was all like, "Look, man. I don't want to waste your time. I don't want you to waste my time. I'm not going to accept anything under $20 an hour. I've got the skills. I've got the knowledge. You know where you can apply all of it. If you want me to stay, $20 an hour. That's my minimum." And they said, yeah.
Wow. Maybe I'll get the shrimp to be that bold one day.
Yeah, I was gonna say it definitely does take some level of just not giving a fuck. Yeah, I'm not gonna say that everyone should just be able to walk in there and just go like, "Pay me this much, fuck you." But yeah, it definitely helped me to walk in there and lay down my ultimatum. And you know, all I gotta say is that this place that I'm working at, they really like me. So, you know, I keep talking about wanting to move me over to third shift. They still haven't yet. Eventually they will, hopefully, and then I can get my Mondays back. So, yeah, I don't know. But yeah, that's been life lessons with Quiz. Cannibalistic says that he's not going to watch Edge Runners because he had the ending spoiled for him and he hates those kinds of endings. I haven't heard anything about the ending yet. I've purposefully tried to avoid people talking about Edge Runners. So I haven't had shit spoiled for me. But, I don't know, like, I'm pretty open-minded when it comes to a lot of stories. There's a lot of people that say, I hate this kind of story, I hate that kind of story. I remember there was one time I went to a horror convention up here in Illinois, and I got to talk with Brad Jones. People might know Brad Jones from Nostalgia Critic, that guy with glasses. He's the Cinema Snob. And I got to talk with him about one of his movies that he made called Paranoia. And he's been on record on like some of his videos talking about how he hates the ending of it because it turns out like the whole ending was like he was in hell the whole time and this is his punishment. And I sat there and like he says like I hate that ending. It sounds so cliche now and it sounds so, you know, fucking try-hardy and edgy and all that kind of stuff. I'm like, hey dude, take it for what you're worth, or take it for what it's worth, but I really like that kind of ending. I don't think it's necessarily all this artsy-fartsy like a lot of people do, but I don't think that that's too tired of a cliche. I really enjoyed Dante's Inferno. So I'm not going to sit there and reject the idea of the narrative being the twist being, well, he was dead the whole time. I think it's actually not necessarily a clever, but a good use of dramatic irony for the story. And I give him my 2 cents. You know, he took it for what it was worth. He's a good guy. I really like Brad Jones. He's a good guy to talk to. But yeah, it's just interesting that some people will put out a piece of art that they just look at and just say, I hate this. And I'm guilty of the same thing too. But you know, at the same time, it's all like, I don't think you should hate it. I don't think you should kiss your ass over it, but I don't think you should hate it. I don't know. That's just me, though.
Yeah, speaking of bad endings, there was this anime I watched, and I'm not going to give the name of because it's a little embarrassing that I watched it.
Okay.
But I watched the first and second season on Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
Then I watched it legally for the third season elsewhere.
Okay. Through perfectly
And that
legitimate
ending,
means.
that ending, man, has to be the most infuriating ending I've ever seen in an anime. It was a 90s anime, too. Like, you wouldn't think it would do that, but it was just...
Well...
Character defeats final boss. Boss resets. Character wakes up. None of the season ever happened.
Oh, is this Sword Art Online?
No.
Oh, okay.
It's 90s anime.
Oh, okay. I don't know then. But I mean, you know, people love Neon Genesis Evangelion, and that's widely regarded as one of the worst endings of all time. So much so that people like sent death threats to Hideki Anno over it.
I wouldn't call it the worst ending. It's just a minimalist ending.
Yeah, well, it's very abstract. And I love it too because like when all the people would send like Hideki Anno death threats over episodes 25 and 26 of Evangelion, when they decided to make a movie, he made End of Evangelion and said, you know what? Fine, you want a real ending? Fine, everyone dies. How about that? Go fuck yourself. So, I don't know. It's... It all depends on like your perspective, whether or not you feel let down by it. But I find that especially a lot of anime from the 80s and 90s, it really comes down to enjoying the journey, because the ending is always going to make you feel bad. Like one of the animes that I remember being like the most popular thing when it was going around was in the early 2000s, Azumanga Daioh. And don't get me wrong, I love Azumanga Daioh. It is great. But does anyone want to get depressed by watching the ending where they all graduate and then just kind of like move off and do their own separate thing and don't see each other or interacting? No! Everyone loves the journey because they're all friends having fun. No one wants to watch the end of that.
Okay, I'm gonna be honest. The only reason I know Azumanga Daioh is from the Bill Clinton cat thing on YouTube.
Oh, was it Neko-chan or whatever it is? Hello everyone.
I wish I were a bird.
Yeah. I love Azumanga Daioh, man. It's take it from me, who's I like to call myself a reformed weeb. I love Azumanga Daioh. I don't care who thinks less of me because of it. Fuck you, I don't care. It's a great show. James Colley says it sounds like hack. You mean dot hack? Dot hack sign? Because dot hack sign only had one season.
Yeah, everyone keeps recommending Dot Hack to me, and
I love Dot Hack. It's great.
I grew up with SAO. I'm done with that genre.
I don't know. I like Dot Hack so much. That's the one that I mean, I was in, what, 17, 18 when .hack was put on fucking Toonami. But I saw it like a year before because, I would go to conventions and shit like that, so I would see it long before it saw syndication. And I love that show. It's great. I like all the characters. The music is fucking beautiful. Yeah. No, I recommend .hack. I would say that it's different from Sword Art Online quite significantly. I would say that Sword Art Online it took a lot of story beats from .hack. So. Yeah, he was talking about .hack. Yeah, but Megato said that there were 3 seasons, so it couldn't be .hack. Not Ranma 1/2, was it? Oh no, there were more than 3 seasons for Ranma.
I really don't want to give it away because it's legitimately embarrassing that a man my age would watch an anime like that.
Cardcaptor Sakura!
Fuck.
Hey, it's not embarrassing. Cardcaptor Sakura is actually a pretty interesting story.
Have you fucking watched that show?
It is a little kiddie fucking...
It is the most problematic anime of all time.
Yeah. I say, especially from a lot of people's perspective nowadays.
Yeah. Like, I was watching that. I was binge watching that, I think, last month.
Mm-hmm.
Because one of my female friends say, hey, watch Cardcaptor Sakura. It's pretty good.
It is. It's an okay show.
It's just so awkward.
It is.
Being a grown man watching that show.
Well, it's, Japanese anime is really weird because you look at something and you would like try to peg its demographic for being like, like we said before about Pokemon being, 8 to 10-year-old boys is the target demographic for Pokemon, right? But, how many people are huge Pokemon fans who are outside of that demographic? Way more than you can count. So I don't necessarily think that anime can be boiled down into a demographic where you would say be like embarrassed to watch, Like,
Cardcaptor Sakura, definitely.
I'm a pretty, I'd like to think that I'm a pretty masculine kind of guy, but I'm a sucker for some romantic anime. I love Onagai Teacher. Hell, James Colley just said that he loved watching Sailor Moon. And I'm not going to sit there and make fun of him for that.
Different, though. Sailor Moon is different.
Wow, not really. I mean, that was targeted for, pre-teen girls.
Sailor Moon is just too big of an anime not to know about.
Well, yeah, I mean, in terms of like pop culture osmosis, yeah, I could agree with that. But I mean, like actually sitting down and watching it, people saying that they would be embarrassed to watch it. I mean, say what you want, but there were some pretty adult themes in Sailor Moon that were explored. Sailor Uranus and Pluto's relationship. I mean, you had a lot of things explored in that were well beyond the scope of what you would assume the target demographic to be. And it grew with its audience. And James Colley, Excel Saga was great. I'm not going to say it's not. I love Excel Saga. I will say this. The fans of Excel Saga were the most obnoxious people at the convention. I mean, I
have no idea what Excel Saga is. What is Excel Saga?
Okay, Excel Saga is a comedy anime that, like, there's no real noticeable structure to the story at all. they just play with tropes and self-referential anime things. The voice actress of Excel in the Japanese version is also the same voice actress that did Misato in Evangelion, and Usagi, aka Serena in the American version, Sailor Moon in Sailor Moon. She did both of those, and they reference both of those characters that she played in the anime. It's like a fourth wall breaking comedy show. Yeah, see, James Collier had no real story. Yeah, you're right. It was a 24 episode anime that was like a fourth wall breaking comedy sort of just like romp sort of thing. It was weird. But it was good. I liked it, but I will say that the fans of that show were ridiculously obnoxious at the conventions.
Were they as obnoxious as Italia fans?
I never really had any interaction with Italia fans because I think I got out of watching anime by the time Italia became popular.
Okay, because when I was growing up, I was far too young to watch Italia, but every single anime meme seemed to just like bash Italia fans.
Okay.
So something must have happened. I don't know. The characters are all countries, so.
Okay. I don't know, like, trying to think of like any sort of like memes that really were a thing in the early 2000s when it came to that kind of stuff. And I can't really think of anything that like really exemplified a meme of a fan, especially a fan of a particular series. There was just the and it was part of the convention guidelines I'd like to mention. Never really applied to me because I wasn't that kind of weeb, but it was all otaku are dirty, unwashed, and the convention smells horrible, like BO the entire time you're walking around the floor. That was like the big sort of I guess overall trope and meme about anime fans back when I was going to conventions.
I mean, I've been to a con once. That's not all false.
No, it's not. I'll be 100% honest there. It's really funny too because like one of the very first. It wasn't the first year that I went to Anime Central, but it was I think like my second or third year. One of the things they sold when it came to like their own merchandise was a branded soap on a rope, and I bought it for the meme, and I still own it. I've never used it. So yes,
so you bought soap, but you didn't use it.
Yeah, because I used other soap that I already had with me when I went to the convention.
Right then.
I say it's funny because it's themed. It has an Anime Central print on the soap, so I didn't want to use it up. It's funny. Cannibalistic mentioned Log Horizon. I never watched Log Horizon, but my roommate got me to watch the first episode of it. I don't dislike it. I thought it was pretty cool. Would I sit down and watch the rest of the anime? Probably not.
Yeah, I've never seen that either.
So we should have like an anime episode of Minions where we just talk anime. You
want to drive away all the viewers?
Hey, anime is surprisingly not as niche as it used to be. I mean, hell, we've got plenty of interaction here from Cannibalistic and James Cowley. I think we get someone like Kefki here. I think it'd be really interesting to hear her perspective on a lot of anime.
I almost wish anime was more niche.
So do I.
Because of the But because of people like the My Hero Academia community,
Uh,
those people make me not want to read the manga.
Man, the community just period for anime itself made me want to stop watching anime, and it did for a long time.
There was a time where I was just straight up reading the My Hero Academia manga, even past the anime adaptation.
Sure.
And then I saw the fandom on Twitter, and I just stopped. Because they would spoil everything.
Oh, yeah, of course. New manga comes out, they have to talk about it.
In the worst possible ways, too.
Yeah, oh, yeah. Oh, James Colley, I didn't know Gabby was into anime. Yeah, we get her in on the conversation, too. That way you can also all update the boomer anime fan about these things. It's like, you know, I sit here and think about some of my favorite animes, and I think of like all the movies from Satoshi Kon. You know, Perfect Blue, Paprika, Tokyo Godfathers. Like, that was my era of anime. And then before, you know, I loved Ghost in the Shell, Akira, Gunsmith Cats, fuck yeah. Chicago represent. Hell yeah. James Callie, I refuse to watch My Hero Academia. You know, man, I've not caught a single episode of it either, and I'm not sure if it's because of the fans is the reason why I've just downright refused to watch any of it.
It's decent.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to sit there and say that it's not. I think some of the memes from it are hilarious. Like, I've got one of the one where Deku is watching stuff on the computer, but they like edited it so that like Deku's wanting to watch cat videos, but then it cuts to Zone's Anka, and he goes, "That cat's not dancing." Like, I love those kinds of jokes, and like, it uses My Hero Academia to tell. It's like, do I need to know anything about My Hero Academia to appreciate that joke? Nope. At most, you need to know about Zone and the kind of cartoons that Zone makes. And in terms of weebishness, the new ZTV. Zone 10 interviews Project Melody. So fuck yeah.
How long has Zone been around?
Oh, Zone's been around for forever. I think 2004 was the first time Zone uploaded something on the Zone archive.
Man, Zone's not that much younger than me.
Mm-hmm. Oh man, James Colley, you're just going right on my whole generation of anime. Trigun, Blue Seed, hell yeah. Both of those, great. My favorite anime of all time is Outlaw Star. I'm a sucker for the sci-fi western anime. Project Melody is my hero.
It's so interesting how there's just so many different types of anime fans. Like, based on time period.
Sure.
Because you guys like all these 90s and 80s animes.
Mm-hmm.
And me and my generation's more like 2000s and 2010s animes.
Mm-hmm.
And the subject matter is almost completely different.
Some of it. I mean, some of it definitely bleeds over. Like, a 2010 anime that I absolutely adore is Panty and Stocking.
Is that the only one you've watched, though?
From 2010 and beyond?
Yes.
Oh, God. Let me think. When did Black Lagoon come out? Black Lagoon. Wikipedia. Black Lagoon came out 2008. But ran until 2011. So do you count that? Started in 2008, but ran until 2011.
It says the first episode was 2006.
Oh wait, these are the novels. Never mind. This is the manga. Anime series. There we go. Yeah, 2006. Okay, so no, you wouldn't count that then. Let me think. Moret's Pirates?
I'm sorry, what?
English, it's Bodacious Space Pirates. It's about a pretty shoujo girl that runs a space pirate outfit. 2014! There you go. I like that one. Moret's Pirates. It's pretty good. Oh wait, hold on. This is the manga again. Fuck! Where's the anime? Oh wait, no, this is a television series. 2012. So there you go. It's 2012. 26 episodes. And then there's Nerima Daikon Brothers. It was pretty good too. So. Burn Up Excess, Black Lagoon. Tenchi Muyo. Okay. This might get me crucified, but I'm not going to shit on anyone here. I don't like Tenchi Muyo. But, this is the big but, I can see why other people do, and I don't begrudge them it. High school me wouldn't say that. High school me hated Tenchi Muyo, but, yeah, no, grown-up me is sitting there going like, I don't like it, but you know what? I'm okay with, you know, people liking it because, you know, I get it. High School of the Dead, that was a good one. I was a little pissed off that they didn't continue the anime. I really like the manga though. The manga's pretty good. Dead Man Wonderland. I didn't watch all of Dead Man Wonderland. My roommate got me to watch, I think, the first 5 episodes of it. And Dead Man Wonderland's pretty cool. I really like the concept on it. You know, the whole his class all got murdered, and this kid that was innocent gets thrown in prison because he was found guilty of killing all of his classmates and stuff like that. It's an interesting idea. It's an interesting idea. I like it.
Yeah, the only reason I know that show is from its OP.
Oh, its opening's great. I say I like the animation too. I like some of the characters and character design and stuff. I can see liking Dead Man Wonderland. I say I've not finished it. Not even close. I don't know all the twists and turns and stuff like that, but I liked it. I liked it well enough. I'll say as James Colley is saying Tenchi Muyo, I liked Ranma and Half more. I was more of a Ranma and Half kind of guy. And again, it's no shade on Tenchi Muyo fans. I get it. I get why people like it. I just don't. Another one you mentioned too is Bleach. That's another one. I have a little bit of a harder time accepting why people like Bleach. I've said it before and I'll say it again. For a lot of these animes that just last for so fucking long, Bleach and One Piece. When I watched Bleach, I thought the first episode was a fairly good show, and it should have ended after the first episode. If the narrative ended there, I would have been satisfied with Bleach. But then after I watched that first episode, finding out that it has like 700 episodes after that, I'm all like, hell no! That ain't happening.
What I did was I binge read the whole entirety of Bleach in 2 weeks, like 2 months ago. It's an interesting series.
I don't know. I just think that it should have ended after the first episode.
It's kind of similar to Naruto.
That's another show I think should have ended after the first season.
Yeah, these 2000s shonens are not exactly the same as these 90s.
Yeah. No, I really did not like Naruto. I didn't like Bleach. For the shonen sort of stuff that I liked in the early days, so to speak, it was very much more of a myopic and one season narrative. I think a lot of people are, especially the show creators and the producers, are afraid to let a narrative end. Because then they sit there and say, well, we need to come up with a whole new, IP, and that's a risk because we're not sure if it'll sell as well as this other thing. So we just need to keep it going, even though it should have ended so long ago. I think the same thing about Dragon Ball, too, as controversial as that may sound to say, but whatever. It is what it is.
That is one of the reasons, though, I like Demon Slayer. I read through the entirety of Demon Slayer, again, binging like a few months ago. It's a short story in relative terms compared to like One Piece, Fairy Tail, all these other shonens.
Sure.
But it wraps up all the loose ends. They tell the exact story they mean to tell and nothing more.
And I respect that. I respect the shit out of that. That's what I think more narratives should do, especially from shonen anime. High School DxD. Never seen it, man. Sorry.
Me neither. All I know is just tits.
Well, High School of the Dead is the one with the meme with the floppy tits and the bullet passes between them.
Okay, so these are different shows.
Yes, I believe.
See, because my whole life I thought DxD was just High School of the Dead.
No, to my knowledge, I think they're completely different.
Man.
After 100 episodes, it starts to suffer from being bland and boring, and after 150, it tends to be trash. I mean, I'm not going to disagree with you, but I also think that that's the sort of thing that happens after, like, 3 seasons. And 3 seasons is what? How many episodes? 2, 4, 6, 60 episodes? It's like, it's not even 100 yet. It's like 70, what? 6, 12, 18... 78 episodes for 3 seasons. I think 3 seasons should be however much you need to tell your story. Anything beyond that is just fucking obnoxious.
I tend to agree.
Yeah.
A lot of my favorite animes are like maybe 20 episodes long.
Yeah. Like, I sound a little bit like a hypocrite saying that I like Ranma, because Ranma has, I think, like 9 TV seasons. But Ranma never had an overarching story. Like, the only plot thread that is supposed to be the same no matter what from beginning to end, and it ends with Ranma and Akane getting together. And that's it. Like, that's, So everything else in between is just playing with ideas that these characters have introduced by being the characters. And I can get behind that. It's a dumb little episodic sort of series. It's like watching Looney Tunes. One of his favorite animes is Restaurant to Another World. Guy owns an eatery that once a week a door connects to another world that inhabits from that world come to eat his cooking. You know what that sounds a lot like, but a little bit like less hardcore, so to speak, is, what is it, No Game, No Life? Is that what that's called? I watched a little bit of that because my roommate told me, turned me on to that. And there's a reference to Light Yagami from Death Note in that. Essentially it's like people who die getting a second chance to redeem themselves before they get, like, their ultimate judgment or something like that. I think that's the anime that I'm thinking of. But that one's like, dark and edgy and, involves death and characters that have died and blah, blah, blah. Jobless Reincarnation. 26 episode, 1 season. It's solid. No, I've never seen it. I'll tell you one that I learned about because I saw on, saw someone renting the series while I worked at Netflix, was Desert Punk. Really enjoyed that anime. It was a lot of fun.
I think I was 4 years old when that came out.
Desert Punk? Let me see.
Yeah.
Desert Punk. The manga was 1997. The original run for the anime was 2004. So you were born in 2000?
Yep.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Makes birthdays a lot easier.
I would not at all recommend a 4-year-old watching Desert Punk. I'll tell you what anime came out on the same year as your birthday. Outlaw Star.
I'm not too big on westerns in anime.
I love that. I love that show so much. It's so good. You ever watch Firefly?
The TV series?
Yeah,
No.
the Joss Whedon one. Oh, you should. It's really good. But Firefly stole so much from fucking Outlaw Star.
Yeah. In my opinion, the best manga representation of a western that's actually entertaining is probably JoJo Part 7 Seal Ball Run.
Trigun. Trigun's anime is the manga too is fucking awesome.
You hear about that remake they're making?
I heard, yeah. I last I heard is just that it's in production. Haven't heard anything else about it though.
So you haven't seen any screenshots?
No. I'm not sure if I want to either, because
Yeah, you might not.
yeah. Because I saw that they did a an OVA of Trigun, and it was all 3D animated, and it was 3D animated like the Berserk 3D animation. It was bad. So I don't know.
It looks a little better than Berserk, but it's not great.
Yeah. I've got a complete Vash the Stampede cosplay, right?
Of course you do.
I'm not tall enough to really pull it off, though. I'm only, 5'8". Vash is supposed to be 6'2". I say, you know what? Even older anime that I really like. For those that may be in the know, do any of you know Sorcerer Hunters? Japanese name Bakuratsu Hunters. Talk about an anime with a weird ending.
That sounds incredibly obscure.
It is. It's definitely. I think that one was 80s. Let me check. It was either 80s or early 90s. Sorcerer Hunters. Bakuratsu Hunters. There's the anime. Original animation, 1996. Oh wait, no, that's the OAV. Fuck. Where's the original anime? 95. 26 episodes. 26 episodes and 3 OAVs. Say, James Colley, man. You and I are birds of a feather, James. I'll say, the ending was fabulous. I don't know, man. I was a little weirded out with the ending. Another one. Oh God, here, let me. Now I'm like getting into all my old nostalgic animes. Let's see here. Let's. When would this one? Okay, there's another one that I really enjoyed. 96. Maho Tsukaitai. Magic Users Club. There's a slice of life anime about essentially this like high school club of characters, but they were wizards and like could actually cast wizard spells. It's weird. But it was fun. I love that anime. Ah, shit, man, you said chocolate, and now I'm blanking on the other one's name. Fuck! What is her name? Tiramisu. That's right. Because both of the characters are named after, desserts. Chocolate masu and tiramisu.
Oh.
Yeah, all the characters are named after foods of some kind. Yeah, it's great. I love Sorcerer Hunters. It's such a good show. Fuck, man, now you're getting me wanting to go and rewatch this show. I love it.
Yeah, my nose is starting to plug up.
Okay.
So I might have to end pretty soon.
Well, we've been going for 2 hours. I think it's a good time we can call it from here. Thank you all for coming out, watching some paint dry, talking some nerdy, actually anime stuff. Be sure to watch tomorrow where Adam is the host. He may be doing it from my place. Who knows? We may be playing some Britio Grames. Oh yeah, dude, Rune Soldier. That was another one that just came to mind too. Anyway, yeah, be sure to watch tomorrow where Adam is the host. And yeah, take care, everyone. The zoo is closed.